Hey everyone, it's Sarah from Spirited Saturdays, and today Lena and I have decided that we're going to deal with something that pretty much everybody faces on, well, hopefully not a day-to-day basis, but yeah, a lot of the time, and it might be day-to-day in the early stages of recovery. It's a topic that we received through the Freedom Fighters account, and it goes, how do I deal with the inconsistencies of my thoughts? It drives me insane. Is it normal to actually want and love your eating disorder and fight like hell to keep it, but still think that your life would be better and normal even if you have this? I want to get deeper into this, but I don't want my life to be screwed up forever. I don't want help, but I want someone to talk to. I hate my body, but I want to show it off to the world. None of it makes sense, yet I can justify it in my mind. It makes sense to me. It makes sense to a lot of people, but it doesn't make any logical sense. It's so normal. One of the really imperative things is that you stop judging it. You know, instead of saying, this is crazy, this is just, you know, this is nuts, I'm insane for thinking this way, it's, you know, it's really important to radically accept that this is disordered, and I have an eating disorder. So that makes perfect sense. None of it makes sense other than that, except that I have a disorder and my thoughts are disordered. That makes sense. Is it normal to want and love your eating disorder? Yeah, I'm 6 years into recovery and I still love my eating disorder for reasons. I hate it too, but I really love it as well. If we didn't love it, then it wouldn't be so hard to let go. For a lot of us, eating disorders serve an absolutely integral part or purpose in who we are. And, you know, for those who are fighting for recovery and who have been in recovery for a long time, or who are just starting and have had eating disorders for a really long time, it's, you know, we don't know who we are if we let go of our eating disorders. And to let go of something that big and that substantial in who we are is just sort of not natural. So even if you didn't love it, you still wouldn't want to let go of it. But many times, eating disorders do serve a purpose. They serve a purpose in terms of distraction, or safety, or, you know, escape. There's so many purposes that they serve that it's not abnormal, and it makes perfect sense to love it. And it's kind of like, at what point does the cost start being too much? That's basically what you have to decide. And hopefully that's soon. You know, hopefully, yeah, it costs too much to feel safe, to feel distracted, to have something to do in my life with the eating disorder. The whole thing about thinking that your life will be better and normal, even with an eating disorder, I can't tell you how many of us have said that. There are so many people who say that, and I'm definitely one of them. You know, there are so many people who walk out of intensive treatment, who've just spent the last, 4 or 5 months in treatment, saying, oh, well, I can be a little bit sick. The answer is no, you can't. You will be fully sick, or you will be fully healthy, or on your way to either or. You will not be partially sick. It doesn't work that way. Unfortunately it doesn't. And because you know, of the black and white thinking, you need to discard the black and white thinking totally, except for that one concept, which is you're either totally in or pursuing recovery, or you're totally in or pursuing your eating disorder. It really doesn't work to have the mindset of, oh, I'll be only a little bit sick. Help doesn't mean that you can't talk to someone. I know that in our clinic we have a group for people who don't want help, who don't want to start recovery in their eating disorders, but they want to stay connected. And our male Egyptian doctor, who has no idea what it means to have an eating disorder and why we have them, gets this. there is no reason you can't go get someone or go find someone to talk to and to connect on that level and still have your eating disorder. Oftentimes that's the first step to recovery. A lot of times people recover on the basis of they get better first physically and then emotionally. But I have known people who get better emotionally and then they start physically. So, you know, I would find a therapist or someone who would be open to that. Most therapists will be. As long as you are not totally 100% consumed every single second by your eating disorder, you have something to gain by going to talking to someone. And I would give it a shot. Everybody needs someone to talk to. And I can't see why you shouldn't pursue that. And your eating disorder may be stopping you for doing that because it knows that once you start to get allies on your side, it can be difficult for it to control you as much as it would like. But it's not unreasonable to want someone to talk to. And it's not unreasonable to want someone to talk to who expects you not to change. That makes even more sense. If you want to feel safe, you don't want something expected of you. So, that makes sense to me. And I would definitely pursue that. Most therapists that are good will not make demands on you that you are not ready for. And they will respect that. So as long as you're assertive and, this is what I need, this is what I want, I think it would work out quite well, and I would encourage you to do so. I hate my body and I just want to show it off to the world. This is kind of a trial and error thing in eating disorders. I guarantee that the more weight you lose, you will not love your body. You will not see the weight that you lose. I promise you. I really should get out my body drawing someday. But that's part of the disorder, is that we get so disordered and we see bigger and bigger the smaller we get. Most of us, anyway. Actually, the first time I loved my body, I qualified at an overweight BMI. And yeah, I never thought that I would do that, but I never loved my body at an underweight BMI either. I hated every single part of it. I promise you, you will not see what you want to when you get to the number you think you want. And it's kind of a trial and error thing, because you're not going to believe me. I don't believe me, and I've done it like a couple 100 times. But it's just keep that in mind, that I'm not the only one that's like that. And in terms of wanting to show it off to the world, that's not unreasonable either. Everybody wants to feel attractive. I don't know, I don't know why we get so focused on physical appearances. Why can we not be so healthy? Why can't you be able to run a mile spontaneously, or, have excellent health and show that off to the world, instead of this, emaciated, childlike figure? Perhaps it's a matter of perception. Maybe there's nothing to show off to the world when you're that thin and that sick. But there's so much to show off to the world when you're healthy. There's something that really, really gets to me, and it's a quote, and it says, "You don't have a soul, you are a soul, and you have a body." And it's so true. You will love your body when you love your soul. You will love your body when you love who you are, because you respect that it's the home to someone absolutely beautiful and amazing. And it takes some time to get there, but I promise you that's the way to go, is not to lose weight. And And then the whole justifying it in my mind thing, everybody's like that, I promise you. Callie, can you stop? Yeah. I have Sarah-specific rules. I'm sure that Elena has Elena-specific rules. I know Kira has Kira-specific rules. Everything that we think makes sense to us and only applies to us. Part of the challenging thing, you have to realize that there are rarely any exceptions that only apply to one person, and there are no exceptions that apply to nobody. If there's an exception, you're just, it could happen to you. So, yeah, there are no specific rules to people. Okay, I really have to go. I have job training in like 10 minutes. Okay, see you later, and I hope to see you next week.